This week I'm in Budapest and this is part 2 of my week-long adventure to explore this beautiful city. If you missed part 1, you'll find it linked in the description. It's day 5 today and I'm excited to show you some cool things to do and some really nice food to eat and drink. So let's go!
We caught the bus towards our first adventure of the day, and while waiting for the next bus, we had a nosy around this beautiful Catholic church.
This morning we're going adventure caving and I'm really excited because I've never done this before, so let's go!
Once we arrived and met our guide, we were given our overalls, helmet and light to put on. We were given our briefing and looked at the maps of the cave system we were entering. Then we walked to the entrance of the caves wearing our overalls and it was so hot, I couldn't wait to get into those cool caves. We entered the caves and it was a cool 10 degrees centigrade and felt amazing. We had another short stop and our guide told us some of the history of the cave system. He told us how it used to be a quarry used by miners and they moved the rocks around the area and then the caves opened out, revealing this fantastic natural cave system. We then descended into the caves by a long ladder and started our adventure. It wasn't long until we were climbing through narrow passages and squeezing through little tight gaps. We stopped every so often for a rest and stories in the larger open section. Our guide was so knowledgeable about the cave system, so we felt totally safe in his hands. He also stopped to show and tell us about the cool fossils like sea urchins that were in the rock, which was really fascinating. Not to mention, he was absolutely hilarious and threw himself through the caves at lightning speed. It was so impressive. You can tell he knows it like the back of his hand. But he was also very patient and gave clear instructions of how to get through the really tight spaces. There was one point when we had to army crawl through a really tight spot and even turn your head a certain way so it didn't get stuck. It was one of the toughest things I think I've ever done, but absolutely worth it. Overall, this experience was thrilling, challenging, and really empowering. We all came out with a huge sense of achievement, proud, and super happy. Definitely not for the faint-hearted, a proper adventure and worth every penny. I would highly recommend to do this. We then caught the bus back to our Airbnb with only time to grab some leftovers for lunch before our next activity.
Now we're going to go for a wine tasting which is led by a sommelier and I can't wait because after our adventurous morning I would love to sit down, get out of the 34 degrees sun and drink some beautiful local Hungarian wine. So let's go.
We booked a 5 wine with cheese and charcuterie tasting. The cellar was really lovely and bursting with every type of wine you could imagine and loads of other kinds of alcohol too. We were given some really useful handouts showing the names and information about the different wines that we would be trying and also a map of the wine regions in Hungary. The first 2 wines that we tried were white wines and they were from the Kunszeg and Eger region. White wine is my thing, so naturally I loved both of them. They were delicious. Our sommelier also told us which food to pair with which wine to enhance the flavors, which was a really nice touch. He also explained about the different grape growing regions in Hungary and what was special about each one. Then we tried 2 red wines from the Matra and Sexard region. Red wine is unfortunately not my thing, but I did try both of them and they were really nice. The star of the show for me though was the last wine we tasted. It was a sweet white wine from the Toki region. It was absolutely amazing and we will definitely be buying some from the duty free to take home with us. Overall, a really informative experience. Our sommelier was incredibly knowledgeable and it was really good value for money. I would highly recommend to do this if you're into your wines.
It's so hot today, so we were looking for somewhere to have some cocktails, and we stumbled across the Hotel President, which actually has a rooftop terrace upstairs where you can get some cocktails. So let's go see.
We stumbled across this lovely rooftop bar just wandering around, and what a find! Not gonna lie, I was hoping for a bit of shade, but with views like this, I was willing to slap on some more sun cream and just go with it. The rooftop offers excellent views of the beautiful Hungarian State Treasury building built in 1901. It's a stunning example of the Széchenyi movement of architecture which began at the turn of the 20th century. What's better in this weather than to have a mojito and a beer? So refreshing. We also had a Long Island iced tea and a daiquiri. And then another mojito and some grey cow palinka. All delicious, and we really enjoyed chilling out and having a more relaxing afternoon. We then headed to get some dinner to soak up the alcohol, so we headed to the Hungarian Bistro. We had a spicy mango daiquiri and a beer, and also a cheeky strawberry mojito. We really wanted goulash, so we ordered one to share, but the waitress brought us two by mistake, and she kindly offered us to have it for free. And it was absolutely delicious. For mains, we had chicken cordon bleu and jasmine rice, and a Hungarian cold platter with salami, ham, cheese, and vegetables. Everything was great, and the service was amazing.
We just had an amazing dinner, and now we stumbled across this light art museum, so we're just gonna pop in and see what it's like.
The Light Art Museum is a place for art experiments with light. The works on display explore the boundaries between imagination and reality. The exhibition on when we visited was called Phantom Vision, Undercurrents of Perception. Everything we see is the result of the interaction of light, our eyes, and our brain. But what happens when we take light out of the equation? The exhibition that we went to see invited us to immerse ourselves into the hidden layers of human perception to question our convictions about reality. Making use of the latest advancements in science and technology through the works, interactive installations, and immersive projections by more than 35 international and Hungarian artists, the exhibition gives insight into brainwave patterns, dreams visualized by artificial intelligence, and hidden communication networks of nature, while rendering visible layers of our reality that are beyond the limits of our everyday perception. We really enjoyed this light art museum. It was something unexpected for us, and we didn't plan it, but actually we had a really good evening, and we actually visited this twice. Definitely worth to go and see if you're about.
That's a wrap for day 5 of my trip to Budapest. Tomorrow we're going to see Guns N' Roses, the whole reason that we're here. I'm so excited, so let's go. Welcome to day 6 of my trip to Budapest. I'm really excited today because we're actually going to go and see Guns N' Roses this evening. We've moved from our Airbnb to a hotel which is closer to the stadium, but we've also got some other things planned as well, so let's go.
We arrived early for our next activity, so we had a wee wander around this lovely park. It's actually a memorial park dedicated to Hungary's outstanding actors. This was a very interesting discovery which we didn't expect. The National Theatre is in the background, and there's a lovely memorial of the old National Theatre. This is a really nice place to wander around to kill some time. A really pretty green space just on the riverside to relax in.
We've just stopped off for a coffee and some cake before we go on the distillery tour. They look delicious.
The coffee was really good and the cakes were outstanding. In particular, this chocolate cake was honestly one of the best chocolate cakes I've ever had. So soft and creamy and luxurious.
We're just headed to the House of Unicum, which is a Hungarian drink. They have a museum, and we're going to go on a tour and hopefully have a wee sip to try it. Let's go.
We had a tour booked which started with a video which detailed the history of Unicum, the Svak family's history, and the brewery itself. Really fascinating to learn about the family business which has survived for 6 generations. We then entered the distillery and learned about some of the ingredients that were used to make Unicum, but we weren't told exactly as it's a secret mix of herbs and spices. Our guide also explained the Unicum production process as well, which was really interesting. We then went down into the cellar and I was immediately impressed with all these absolutely massive barrels. The cellar was really cool. I loved the old barrels. They had so much character, especially the one that had this Vac family's crest on it. So cool. So many, but oh my god, there's so many. Wow.
Most of them aren't even.
I couldn't quite believe how big it was. It looked like it went on forever. Then we got to sample some Unicum original straight from the cask. It is definitely an acquired taste. It reminds me a bit like Jägermeister, but more herbal, bitter and intense. I could taste notes of spices like clove and nutmeg, and it was quite earthy too. Then we tried the plum one, which was more my kind of drink. It was sweeter and smoother than the original, still bitter but fruity, and I really liked it. We then headed to the museum, which was just jam-packed with the history of Unicum, with old bottles and posters. There was also a free audio guide that you could go around with as well. I especially liked their vast mini bottles collection from all over the world. Absolutely fascinating, and it must have took years to collect them all. This shop was really nice as well, but we only have hand luggage, so we couldn't buy anything to take home with us, so we'll probably grab some from the duty-free instead. Overall, a wonderful experience to try this iconic Hungarian liquor. Our tour and guide was excellent, and I would recommend this if you have a couple of hours free.
The distillery and tour was really good. We don't have long before we're going on a boat trip, so we're going to go and grab some food at the Goulash and Langosh Bar. I haven't tried Langosh yet, so I'm really excited, so let's go see.
We got a couple of beers and a classic Langosh with cheese and sour cream, and one with bacon, cheese and sour cream as well. Both were really tasty, and we had to take half away with us because they were absolutely huge.
Next up is another boat trip. It's a historical daytime cruise and you get a free welcome drink. There seems to be a bit of a theme forming today, but we'll go with it. Let's go.
Our cruise was an old charming steamboat. We got given a free sparkling wine on arrival and scanned the QR code to get the audio guide for the cruise. The audio guide was really informative and we enjoyed relaxing and learning more about the history of Budapest's iconic landmarks, such as the Liberty Statue, Goulash Thermal Baths, Budapest University of Technology, Budapest Balna, the Inner City Parish Church, Gresham Palace, and finally, the star of the show, the Parliament building itself. The cruise was really chilled and a nice way to see a lot of the sights and learn a bit more about the city. I would recommend this for a lazy afternoon.
We're just away to check into our hotel now.
It's across from the beautiful Kaleti train station and it's called the Baros Hotel. It's nothing fancy, just a room for a couple of nights and it has everything that we need. They also kept our luggage all day, which was really nice, so we didn't need to drag it around with us.
We're just on the way to go and see Guns N' Roses. I haven't seen them for 2 years, but the last time I saw them, they were absolutely amazing. So fingers crossed that they're just as good this time.
We walked to the Puskás Arena and grabbed some drinks. I love the fact they had Guns N' Roses reusable cups, so we got one of each to take home with us. The arena was huge and open-aired, and I'm so glad we had Golden Circle tickets as it got really busy. Guns N' Roses are one of my favorite bands, and I was so excited to see them, and they didn't disappoint. They played all the classics.
Welcome to the jungle. We got one dance. We gonna have a baby one, and we're gonna be living that time. Living that time. Living that time. She got a smile and it seems to me you might be a child. Flying like an airplane, spinning on the space bird one more time in the air. Look out when I'm a West Coaster, red mountain and a rattlesnake under my arm. Say I'm a mean machine, making gasoline. You can make my motor hum. I'll see your sister in the Sunday dress, at the beach outside Bath. Sunday, you try, Saturday. We saw me stay, just everybody's trying to make us mad.
They were on for over 3 hours, and I couldn't believe how long the gig was. It was great, but I was totally knackered at the end of it. Excellent gig, excellent crowd, and everyone had an awesome time. The vibe was so good, definitely 10 out of 10. And I would come back here to watch a gig again. We had a buffet breakfast which was included in our stay, and it was really tasty.
Hi, this is day 7 of my week in Budapest. Today we're going to the Széchenyi Bath. I'm really excited because last night we were absolutely knackered from the Guns N' Roses gig, so we need some rest and recuperation.
We caught the bus to the thermal baths, and I was really impressed with the lovely building's exterior and also the interior as well. We booked the combined ticket for the baths and also for the thermal beer spa. We both had a locker where we could change and store our belongings, and then we headed to the beer spa. The staff were lovely and showed us around and then explained what natural ingredients would be in our spa, including the hops, malt, and yeast. The wooden tubs are 36 degrees warm thermal water, and we had 45 minutes to pull as many pints as we wanted. The beer was great, and we even got some free snacks. The spa was so nice, just what we needed after the gig last night. 100% recommend to do this. It's a very cool experience. I don't know what was wrong with me, but I was absolutely rubbish at pulling the pints. Third time lucky. After our beer spa, we were free to use the baths for the rest of the day. We wandered around inside to get our bearings, and you could honestly have got lost in here. It's huge. I obviously didn't want to film here too much, and water and cameras really don't mix well. We tried all the different temperature pools and saunas and spent most of the time outside. I was a bit gutted that the main pool was closed for refurbishments, but there was still plenty of space even though it was quite busy. We grabbed some lunch at the cafe. There was a really good selection of cold and loads of hot food to choose from. We ended up getting roasted sausage and fries and sweet chili chicken and fries, and also a couple of beers. Overall, a great experience. It is very busy, so I would recommend to go early if you want it to be quieter.
After being in the thermal baths, we're going to stop off in this beautiful park. There's a castle, there's museums, and there's also ponds that you can go boating in. So let's go have a look around.
It was so refreshing to be surrounded in greenery. We explored the park for a while. We headed to the Vajdahunyad castle, which is surrounded by a beautiful boating lake. The castle looks so much like it came out of a fairy tale. It's very romantic. We had to wander around the courtyard and popped into the wee church for a nosy. We saw a beautiful hummingbird hawk moth in these lovely flowers, but it was too quick to film. I was so gutted. I loved the eclectic architecture style used to create this fabulous castle. It was lovely to be in nature, and I was so excited to see this black red star so close up. We don't get them in Scotland very often. And I was even more excited when we spotted a green woodpecker feeding on the grass. They are so elusive in Scotland. Not the best video, but it actually made my day to see it. There was so many statues in the park. This one was especially creepy, but I really liked the small one. It was so cute. It's absolutely lovely here. A little oasis of green space not far from the city. I would definitely recommend to come here. We really enjoyed wandering around the castle, and we discovered this precarious little path that you could almost walk over water over the pond. I was convinced I was gonna fall, but thankfully we made it and got some really nice views of the castle as well.
We're just going to head to the Museum of Fine Arts. I'm looking forward to it because they have an Egyptian section, so let's go see.
We headed straight for the ancient Egyptian section, as I am absolutely fascinated with that time period. I love looking at the ancient Egypt artifacts, and I am always amazed every time that I learn new things about their culture and beliefs. I mean, just take a look at this mummified crocodile and it's young. That is just incredible. Other mummified animals on display included cats, a snake, an ibis, hawks, and other birds. Absolutely fascinating. Lots of clay pots on display, and also this rather stunning precision stone one that definitely stands out. This section of the museum was just packed with stunning old papyrus, hieroglyphs galore, and beautiful stone carvings. The coffins or sarcophagi that they have here on display are especially ornate, beautifully detailed, and painted in such rich colors. It's just incredible to be able to see these ancient artifacts restored today. Just look at those incredible eyes. The museum was packed with other artifacts from different periods, with a great collection from Rome, which was also really interesting. We stopped off at the museum cafe for a snack. We got a raspberry cheesecake and an almond cake with peanut and caramel, and also a couple of cheeky beers, all really nice. Honestly, the building itself was a work of art, and it was really grand and magnificent, both inside and out. We then had a look at all the old paintings. I must admit, I'm not a massive fan of old portraits, but I really do like anything a bit weird or unusual. And I really liked that there was a section here dedicated to food and drinks. I also really liked the section that was dedicated to animals and game. It was really interesting. A special shout out goes to this incredible pile of skulls and also this awesome globe, drinks cabinet, shells, butterflies and skulls. Two of my favourite pieces in the museum. Really cool and unusual. Overall, this museum was really worth visiting. There was great exhibitions and displays. Also, the building and cafe were really good too. Highly recommend. The museum is right next to one of Budapest's most iconic landmarks, which is Heroes Square, that features the Millennium Monument to commemorate Hungarian leaders. This statue is absolutely huge, and I'm regretting not coming here at night to see it all lit up. It must look amazing.
We're just gonna grab one of our last meals for the evening. I'm excited, I'm knackered, but let's go.
I really liked the rustic vibe in this restaurant. It was really cool inside. We got grilled chicken breast with 3 cheese sauce and potato donuts, and also gypsy steak with fried potato wedges, also a couple of beers. Great service, great price, and the food was delicious.
I'm just gonna wrap up for today, and I'm gonna catch you tomorrow in our last day in Budapest. We're absolutely knackered, but it's been such a good time so far. I'll see you then. Good morning, it's our last day and day 8 of our trip to Budapest. We are going to go to one of the most beautiful libraries in the city right now, so let's go check it out. Absolutely gutted. We just got to the library and there's a sign here that says that it's closed, but we had a look at the outside and it's still stunning. Maybe we'll come back next time.
We then had a wee wander around this nice looking neighbourhood, admiring the attractive tree-lined streets, buildings, churches, fountains and statues. I really love these rustic second-hand book carts that we kept spotting. Such a great idea to reuse old books.
So plan B, we're going to go to the National Museum instead. Let's go take a look.
The museum is well laid out with different rooms for the different time periods. It's like walking through a timeline of history. You go from prehistoric tools and Roman relics to treasures of medieval kings. I really liked the presentation of the artifacts in this museum. It felt quite new and modern. I loved the way that the skeletons were displayed in the floor, almost replicating burials or graves. All of the old jewellery was absolutely stunning. There is so much gold here. I bet it's worth a fortune. The building itself is just magnificent as well. Look at the beautifully painted, detailed roof. Also on display was the World of Magical Hungary, which is a nature photography contest, and some of the photographs on show were just breathtaking. I really love this part of the museum. I spent ages looking at all the boards, which all had their individual themes. A really good find. I'm so glad we came here. Also here you can find this beautiful room. You could easily miss it, so definitely try to check it out if you visit. This museum is just jam-packed and you could easily spend a day in here if you were to read about every single piece. We walked so much that we needed a seat and a pick-me-up, so we headed to the museum cafe and grabbed some much-needed coffee and a trio of Hungarian desserts. The cakes were all delicious and the coffee was just what we needed. Really great stop-off. I really liked the Roman section. It was really interesting and the mosaic on the floor was just awesome. One of my favorite sections was this open repository, as I loved the wooden cabinets and the winding staircases. There was so much knickknacks to look at. It was really interesting. Overall, a really nice museum with lots of things to see. If you like museums, you should definitely visit this one. After we had tired ourselves out walking, we sat down in the beautiful museum's gardens and ate our packed lunch, which was some sandwiches with cheese that we'd got from the market earlier in the week. We had one last wander around the beautiful streets of Budapest before catching the metro and then the bus to the airport. In the airport, we stopped off at the Terrace for my last cherry beer of the trip. It was so nice and cool and windy here, really fresh to sit outside in an airport. Our last stop was O'Leary's for a snack of buffalo ranch fries, roasted Mexican carrots, frozen mango daiquiri and a beer. All really delicious. Oh, and I can't forget our last two palinkas of the trip. Cheers! Yes, our selection of our Hungarian favorites from the duty-free.
So that's the end of our week-long journey in Budapest. It's been an absolute blast. I hope you really enjoyed the video. We tried to show you some really cool places to eat, drink and see in Budapest. And now, if you really liked the video, if you could please give me a like, subscribe for more, write a comment if you have anything you would like me to do in the next video, and I'll see you in the next one.